You're walking down a familiar street, perhaps on your way to work, or maybe just enjoying a casual stroll. You pass by storefronts, busy cafes, and then you see them. Tents pitched on sidewalks, makeshift shelters tucked under overpasses, the weary faces of individuals who have nowhere to call home. It's a sight that's becoming increasingly common across America, a stark and undeniable crisis unfolding in plain sight. But where is this crisis felt most acutely? Where are the absolute worst places to be unhoused in the United States? We're not just talking about cold weather or high rents. We're diving deep into the systemic failures, overwhelming numbers, and heartbreaking realities faced by hundreds of thousands. Prepare to confront the challenging truth as we examine the 5 hardest-hit U.S. states, uncovering the data, the demographics, and the devastating impact on human lives. This isn't just about statistics. It's about people, dignity, and the urgent need for change. Join us as we shine a light on the darkest corners of America's housing emergency, the unseen epidemic, understanding the scope of homelessness in America. Homelessness in the United States is a complex, multifaceted issue, far removed from the simplistic stereotypes often portrayed. It's not merely a matter of individual choices, but a deeply entrenched societal problem driven by a confluence of economic, social, and systemic factors. To truly grasp the severity of the crisis, one must first understand its scope. The term unhoused encompasses a wide spectrum of experiences, from individuals sleeping on the streets, unsheltered homelessness, to those temporarily staying in shelters, transitional housing, or even motels paid for by public assistance. It includes families with children, veterans, individuals struggling with mental health conditions and substance use disorders, and those simply caught in an unforgiving economic downturn. The latest data paint a sobering picture, revealing that hundreds of thousands of Americans experience homelessness on any given night, with the number steadily climbing in recent years. This isn't just a statistical blip. It's a humanitarian crisis unfolding within the world's wealthiest nation. The sheer volume of individuals without stable housing strains public services, exacerbates health disparities, and chips away at the social fabric of communities. It's a visible scar on the landscape of American prosperity, demanding urgent attention and comprehensive solutions. Understanding the scale of this unseen epidemic is the first crucial step toward addressing it effectively. It requires moving beyond assumptions and confronting the data-driven reality of widespread housing insecurity. California's Golden State, tarnished reality, a crisis of unprecedented scale. California, often synonymous with innovation, glamour, and the promise of the American dream, paradoxically stands at the epicenter of the nation's homelessness crisis. With a staggering 511,399 unhoused individuals, the Golden State accounts for a disproportionate share of the entire U.S. homeless population. This isn't just a high number. It represents a crisis of unprecedented scale, turning California into arguably the worst place to be unhoused. The reasons for this dire situation are complex and interconnected. Skyrocketing housing costs are perhaps the most significant driver. Major metropolitan areas like Los Angeles, San Francisco, and San Diego boast some of the highest rental and home ownership prices in the country, far outstripping wage growth for many low and middle-income residents. An unforeseen medical bill, a lost job, or a family emergency can quickly push individuals and families teetering on the edge of financial stability into the abyss of homelessness. The state's sunny climate, while attractive, also means that unsheltered homelessness is more prevalent than in colder regions. A significant portion of California's unhoused population lives outdoors, making them incredibly vulnerable to health risks, violence, and the elements, despite the generally milder weather. This outdoor living also places immense strain on public spaces and resources, leading to visible encampments that challenge the perception of California as an idyllic paradise. Furthermore, a substantial percentage of California's unhoused population struggles with mental health conditions and substance use disorders, often without adequate access to care. The intersection of these challenges creates a vicious cycle, where lack of housing exacerbates health issues, and untreated health issues make it harder to secure stable housing. While California has invested billions into various initiatives to combat homelessness, the sheer scale of the problem, combined with systemic issues and the relentless pressure of housing affordability, means that solutions often feel like a drop in the ocean. The visible presence of homelessness in California's major cities serves as a constant, heartbreaking reminder that even in a state of immense wealth, the most basic human need, shelter, remains out of reach for 500,000 people. New York's concrete jungle, a shelter system under immense pressure. Across the continent, New York, the state that hosts a city that never sleeps, faces its own unique and severe homelessness crisis, registering 303,200 unhoused individuals. While California's crisis is often characterized by widespread unsheltered homelessness, New York's challenge is largely defined by the overwhelming demand on its extensive, legally mandated shelter system, particularly in New York City. New York City operates under a right to shelter mandate, meaning that the city is legally obligated to provide shelter to anyone who requests it. While this policy prevents many from sleeping on the streets, it places immense pressure on the city's resources, leading to an overstretched system struggling to keep pace with demand. The primary drivers here are familiar: incredibly high cost of living, insufficient affordable housing, and economic instability. Rent burdens in New York City are among the highest globally, making it nearly impossible for low-wage workers or those on fixed incomes to secure stable housing without assistance. The recent influx of asylum seekers and migrants has also dramatically exacerbated the situation, pushing the shelter system to its breaking point and leading to emergency measures like housing individuals in hotels and even tents. This immense pressure not only strains public finances, but also impacts the quality of life within shelters, where overcrowding and lack of resources can be persistent issues. For families with children, living in a shelter, even one deemed safe, means constant disruption, lack of privacy, and challenges in maintaining stability for education and development. While the unsheltered population is smaller compared to California, it still exists, particularly in warmer months or in areas where individuals avoid shelters due to various personal circumstances. The mental health and substance abuse challenges are also significant within New York's unhoused population, reflecting a national trend. New York's approach to homelessness, shaped by its unique legal obligations, offers a different lens through which to view the crisis. It highlights the immense challenge of providing universal shelter in a densely populated, high-cost environment, revealing that even a robust safety net can buckle under the weight of unrelenting demand. Florida's sunshine and shadow, a hidden crisis in the tourist paradise. Florida, known for its pristine beaches, vibrant tourist attractions, and retirement communities, harbors a significant and often less visible homelessness crisis, with 207,200 unhoused individuals. While the state's warm climate might suggest a less harsh existence for those without homes, it also means that unsheltered homelessness is prevalent and can be particularly dangerous during the intense summer heat and hurricane season. The perception of Florida as a relaxed, affordable paradise can mask the underlying economic challenges faced by many residents. The state's economy relies heavily on low-wage service industry jobs, particularly in tourism and hospitality. These jobs often do not provide sufficient income to cover the rising cost of housing, especially in popular coastal areas and major cities like Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. This creates a large segment of the population that is precariously housed, just one paycheck or emergency away from losing their home. A key factor in Florida is the vulnerability to natural disasters. Hurricanes and tropical storms frequently displace thousands of residents, often leaving already struggling families with nowhere to go. The recovery process can be slow and inequitable, pushing more people into homelessness. Additionally, Florida has historically lagged in its investment in affordable housing and mental health services compared to some other states. This underfunding means that there are fewer safety nets and resources available for individuals and families on the brink of homelessness or already experiencing it. While local initiatives exist, a comprehensive, statewide strategy with adequate funding remains a critical need. The shadow side of Florida's tourist paradise is a growing crisis of homelessness, where the warmth of the sun offers little comfort against the harsh realities of economic insecurity, lack of affordable housing, and vulnerability to environmental disasters. The state's pleasant climate, while a draw, does not mitigate the profound struggles faced by hundreds of thousands trying to survive without stable shelter. Washington State, tech booms in tent cities. The paradox of prosperity. Washington State, a hub of technological innovation and home to some of the world's wealthiest companies, presents a stark paradox. Immense prosperity alongside a rapidly growing homelessness crisis impacting 163,200 individuals. The state's economic boom, particularly in the Seattle metropolitan area, has driven up housing costs to astronomical levels, pricing out long-term residents and low-wage workers. This phenomenon, often termed exclusionary displacement, means that even well-paying jobs in other sectors cannot keep pace with the cost of living, leading to a significant portion of the population being housing insecure. The Seattle area, in particular, has seen a dramatic increase in visible tent encampments and unsheltered homelessness, becoming a symbol of the tech industry's uneven impact. While the economy thrives, the social safety net struggles to adapt to the rapid changes and increasing demand for affordable housing and services. The state's large unhoused population also faces the challenges of a varied climate, from the rainy, temperate western side to the colder, drier eastern regions. Those sleeping outdoors contend with persistent dampness and cold for much of the year, leading to increased health risks. Mental health and substance use issues are also prevalent, reflecting the national trends exacerbated by the stress and trauma of homelessness. Washington State has been actively working to address the crisis, with significant investments in housing programs and supportive services. However, the scale of the problem, driven by the relentless pace of economic development and insufficient affordable housing stock, means that efforts often feel like they are constantly playing catch-up. The contrast between towering glass office buildings of tech giants and the growing tent cities below them serves as a potent reminder of the severe inequities that can arise even in the most prosperous regions, making Washington a particularly challenging place to navigate the experience of being unhoused. Texas, the Lone Star State's hidden struggle, unseen and underserved. Texas, the vast Lone Star State, known for its economic dynamism, expansive landscapes, and booming cities, also grapples with substantial and often overlooked homelessness crisis, with 103,200 unhoused individuals. While the sheer numbers might appear lower than California or New York, the challenges faced by the unhoused in Texas are uniquely difficult due to its vast geography, variable climate, and a comparatively less robust social safety net in certain areas. Texas is characterized by its large urban centers like Houston, Dallas, Austin, and San Antonio, which concentrate much of the unhoused population, but also by expansive rural areas where homelessness can be more dispersed and harder to track or serve. The state's climate presents extreme challenges: scorching summer heat that can be life-threatening for those without shelter, and occasional severe winter freezes that are equally dangerous. These extreme weather conditions make unsheltered homelessness particularly perilous. Housing affordability, while generally better than coastal megacities, has been rapidly deteriorating in Texas's booming urban areas. Rapid population growth driven by economic opportunity has outpaced construction of affordable housing, leading to rising rents and increased competition for limited low-cost units. This trend disproportionately affects low-wage workers and those on fixed incomes. Furthermore, Texas has historically adopted a more conservative approach to social spending, which can translate to fewer publicly funded resources for mental health services, substance use treatment, and robust homeless support programs compared to some other states. While major cities like Houston have been lauded for innovative approaches to reducing chronic homelessness, the statewide challenge remains significant, particularly in smaller cities and rural areas where resources are even scarcer. The immense size of Texas means that solutions often need to be tailored to very different local contexts, making a unified, comprehensive statewide strategy complex to implement. For many experiencing homelessness in Texas, the struggle is not just against the elements and economic hardship, but also against a system that can feel less equipped to provide a consistent safety net across its vast and diverse landscapes, creating a profound and often hidden struggle for its unhoused reside. NTS. Beyond the numbers, the human cost, and the path forward, the data we've explored paints a grim picture, highlighting the sheer scale of homelessness in these 5 hardest-hit states: California, New York, Florida, Washington, and Texas. But behind every number is a human story of struggle, resilience, and often heartbreak. The experience of being unhoused goes far beyond lacking a roof over one's head. It encompasses a profound loss of dignity, constant exposure to danger and the elements, severe health challenges, both physical and mental, barriers to employment, and the systematic erosion of hope. Children experiencing homelessness face immense developmental hurdles, often struggling in school and suffering from the trauma of instability. Veterans who serve their country find themselves abandoned by the very system they protected. Individuals battling mental illness or addiction find their conditions exacerbated by the stress of street life, creating a vicious cycle that is incredibly difficult to break. Addressing this crisis requires moving beyond blame and embracing comprehensive, compassionate, and evidence-based solutions. There is no single magic bullet, but rather a multifaceted approach that includes affordable housing expansion. The most fundamental need is more affordable housing units. This includes building new low-income housing, incentivizing developers to include affordable units, and preserving existing affordable housing stock. Housing First initiatives. Programs like Housing First prioritize getting people into stable housing immediately without preconditions like sobriety or mental health treatment. Research consistently shows that once housed, individuals are more likely to successfully address underlying issues. Increased access to supportive services. This means expanding access to mental health care, substance use treatment, job training, and case management. These services are crucial for helping individuals maintain housing stability and rebuild their lives. Homelessness prevention programs. Investing in rental assistance, eviction defense, and rapid rehousing initiatives can prevent individuals and families from losing their homes in the first place, which is often more cost-effective than addressing chronic homelessness. Addressing systemic inequities. Recognizing and dismantling the systemic barriers that disproportionately affect certain communities, such as racial minorities, LGBTQ+ individuals, and those with disabilities is essential. Community engagement and public education. Fostering empathy and understanding within communities is vital. This means challenging stereotypes and educating the public about the true causes and impacts of homelessness. The crisis of homelessness in these 5 states, and indeed across the nation, is a testament to the fact that prosperity alone does not guarantee well-being for all. It demands a collective moral response, a sustained commitment from governments, communities, and individuals to ensure that every person has access to the fundamental human right of a safe and stable place to call home. The path forward is challenging, but it is a path paved with the promise of restoring dignity, fostering hope, and building a more equitable society for everyone. What you can do, a call to action. The issue of homelessness can feel overwhelming, but individual actions, when combined, can make a significant difference. Educating yourself about the complexities of homelessness in your community is the first step. Look up local organizations working on the ground, shelters, food banks, advocacy groups, and outreach teams. Consider volunteering your time. Even a few hours a month can provide much-needed support. Financial contributions, no matter how small, directly help these organizations provide services, housing, and essentials. Advocate for policies that promote affordable housing, robust mental health services, and homelessness prevention at local, state, and national levels. Support politicians and initiatives that prioritize these solutions. Most importantly, practice empathy, acknowledging the humanity of those experiencing homelessness, offering a kind word, or simply treating individuals with respect can help combat the dehumanization that often accompanies this crisis. Remember, homelessness is a solvable problem, but it requires collective will, sustained effort, and a shared commitment to a more just and compassionate society. We must look beyond the numbers, see the faces, and recognize that the solution lies in our hands.